Okay, these are some more notes for section 6.1, and this is on the slope fields. And I figured I was going to have to do these, so rather than keep putting all these little dots and all these little axes down and then these little tables, what I did was I just kind of made this up for you. And this is basically how you can do numbers 29 through 34. There's 6 problems, and I made room for 6 problems, and this is the way the grid is. And you just put up here number, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And these are all the 12 pairs of points, or these are the coordinates for the 12 points here. A nice systematic way of doing it. So this would make it a little bit easier for you. So this is in your homework folder. It's a PDF, so you can just download it and print it out, and you can have that. That'll save you time when you're doing those problems on 6.1. So let me just do one for you. So I came up with kind of an example. Dy dx, let's say dy dx. That's my slope, or my differential equation, equals x minus y. So I can figure out all my slopes, and then just put them on here, and we'll get an example of the slope field. This is kind of the way they set up on some AP exams. When they do the slope fields, they just have you fill in, show the slopes on a few of these with little line segments. And we'll show you how that works. So first of all, let's go through this and figure out what my slopes are going to be. So we usually use a table like this. And it doesn't matter how you configure it. This is a nice systematic way. I know that x is going to be -1. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And y is going to be -1, 0, 1, and 2. And then when x is 0, I've got the same 4 points. So -1, 0, 1, and 2. And when x is 1, I've got the same 4 points, a -1, 0, 1, and 2. So you can set up a table pretty fast that way without just putting random numbers in. And it makes it a little bit easier when you're doing these, especially when you have 6 to do. So I set this all up for you. So all we have to do is check, and then we just put these two values in, and we'll find the slope at this point, like -1, -1. What's the slope? What's x minus y? Well, -1 minus -1 is like -1 plus 1, and that's just 0. So you just fill that in. Okay, again, this is an example. This is section 6.1, and this is an example. And these would be like notes. Okay. And a -1 minus 0 is just -1. A -1 minus 1 is just -2. -1 minus 2 is -3. 0 minus -1 is +1. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 1 is -1. And 0 minus 2 is -2. So it doesn't take too long, especially when you have your table all set up. And then 1 minus -1 is 1 plus 1, which is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And 1 minus 2 is -1. So now we've got all of our slopes. Okay, now when you have these set up like this, these little squares, you can get a pretty good idea of the slopes by just using these boxes, these little squares. In other words, a slope of +1 would look like this, see? And a slope of -1, maybe something like this here. This would be a slope of -1 would look like this, you see? And you can say, well, what about a slope of 2? Well, I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Well, that means it would be kind of in the middle, so I could either do something like this, or I could realize that it's going to go through the middle of that, so I just can maybe go through the middle of that. The slope of 3, so since this goes halfway, a slope of 3 would just go be 1/3 or 2/3 of the way, so I could kind of eye where 1/3 is, and that would give me a slope of 3, and a slope of 4, etc., and the same thing with negative. This would be a slope of -1. A -1/2, I would go through the middle there. That'd be the slope of -1/2. And -2, pardon me. not negative 1/2, negative 2, and negative 3. I'd go 1/3 of the way, okay? So again, this would be the slope of, this would have a slope of 1, 2, and 3, just by going 1/3, 1/2, or negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. And what if you had 1/2? Well, this would be the slope of 1, so 1/2 would go to the halfway point there. So I just have to find the halfway point and connect it like that. That'd be 1/2 and 1/3, and the same thing for negative 1/2 and negative 1/3, etc. So you could use these little boxes to help you. That's all I'm saying. So don't be afraid to do that. Okay, so let's put these slopes in. So at the point negative 1, my slope is 0, so that's nice. That's just a horizontal line. So I would put a horizontal line like that through there. Here at the point negative 1, 0, my slope is negative 1. So what I'll do is I'll use this, and it'll just go like that. And use those points, and just draw a little slash line like that. Try to get through the point there, okay? That's negative 1. That should line up with that slope, okay? Here it's negative 2 at negative 1, 1. So here the slope is negative 2. So I'll try to eye the middle point here and go down here, and that would be negative 2. There we go. Make sure I'm going through my point here. And at negative 3, I would go from here, and I would go down, and I use just this little box here, and I would go down to 1/3, which would be something like that. And I get it pretty close. And we just want to make sure that it's going to be steeper than this one. And this technique will work, I hope. There's negative 3. So there's negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 0. It came out pretty good. All right. Okay, then over here at the point x equals 0, negative 1, I've got a slope of 1. So again, I can use this diagonal here. So there's a slope of 1. And then at 0, 0, the slope is 0. So sometimes it's hard to see because it's right there. Okay. And then at 0, 1, the slope is negative 1. So that's going to go down like this. So again, I can use this box here to help me. See, it would continue right through there. That's a slope of negative 1. And then at 0, 2, the slope is negative 2. So again, I'll find the middle point there, and I'll just go through like that. There we go. And that's going to give me a good negative 2. Okay? So see, these should be parallel if I did it right. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Okay? Almost done. And one more. At 1, negative 1, my slope is 2. So I had a I didn't have a point over here, so I kind of estimate that. My slope is 2. So kind of go through that middle. And at 1, 0, the slope is 1. So it has to be parallel to that. So I can use these 2 points here. There we go. And make that slope of 1. So these would also have a slope of 1 there. And you can see how this is steeper than this. And then add 1, 1 at 0. Well, that's my favorite one. And then at 1, 2, the slope is negative 1. So it's going to look like this. So it's going to have to be kind of parallel to that, negative 1. So something like that. Bring that straight up. I think that's going to give me about a negative 1 slope right there. And that's what you got to do. Okay. So again, you got the paper. Okay, so again, it's all set up. You just put the numbers in. So like I said, number 29 would go there. So I even put a place for you to put number 29, 30. So you fill these out. So try to do a nice job on the slope since I did I did the grid for you, and you got the table. And the tables will be pretty easy once you just write the differential equation down here, and then fill the tables in. So try to do a nice job on these, and I think, yeah, you'll pretty much have that down. Okay? So that's a good example, I think.